In this video, I'm going to run you through how to launch a coaching offer from scratch. So I'm going to presume that you are an expert. I'm going to presume that you know what you're doing and you're already working with clients and getting them some kind of results. You're a service provider. Maybe you're a health professional, a relationship coach, a therapist, a business coach. You're working with people, you're getting them results, and you're wondering, how do I then turn this into some kind of online coaching offer? Because you're doing consulting right now, whether that's hands-on or otherwise. The first thing that you need to do if you want to build a coaching offer is you need to understand what is the transformation that you're going to offer. So that's broken down into who you're going to help and what you're going to help them with. Now, we have trainings and resources on how to do this on this channel, so you can check those out. But hypothetically, the first thing we need to look at is, what result could I get somebody? You don't have to know how you're going to get it. You just have to be clear on what. So what's the thing I'm going to do with this person? Who is that person? And what is the positive benefit? For example, I'm really good at helping people to lose weight. So I'm going to coach people on losing weight. All right, what does that look like? And who is that going to be for? It's going to be for busy professionals, because my methods are unique, or my methods are easy to implement around a busy schedule. They're not made for elderly people, and they're not made for young, fitness buffs who want to get ripped. They're made for middle-aged, busy people who just need to trim some belly fat, okay? Once you are clear on that, then it becomes, now how do we make it more attractive? How do we make it something that people are willing to give money and their time for? So this is our transformation. So it's not a matter of just saying, okay, I'm going to help you lose fat. Well, how are you going to help them do it? Are you going to do it without certain things that they don't want to do, with certain things that they do want to do? And when you're clear on your transformation, the next part is we want to look at the actual how. This is where things start to get fun. This is where you and I, the artists who love doing our work, really want to spend a lot of our time. But the trick here is, if you don't have something that people are willing to buy, then building it is pointless. So I don't want you to think, okay, I need to build this amazing program and then I'm going to try and sell it. I want you to get really clear on, what is my transformation? What am I actually offering? And can I get people to say yes prior to building it? But to do that, you've got to map it out. So we know who, we know what we're helping them with, we know what result we're going to get them. We're clear on what kind of transformation we're going to offer. You're going to lose 10 pounds in 10 days with, while eating donuts or whatever. Then we're going to map out what are the actual logistics, because for an effective business, we have to give people what they want. We have to sell them what they want, but we've got to deliver on what they need. They need to do certain things, but there are certain things that people don't want to do. So we need to make a method that is attractive to that person and is still based in reality. I'm not here to sell bullshit, but I don't want to sell people things that they don't want to do. There's a reason why it's easier to sell $30,000 worth of liposuction than it is to sell $3,000 worth of personal training, because people don't just pay with money. They pay with perceived likelihood of success, and they pay with energy. I know that if I just invest money, I will get my result instantly. Whereas if I pay you as a trainer, I'm going to have to go and do a whole lot of things that I know that I'm not going to go and do, and it's going to cost me a lot of energy and pain, and I don't really want to do that. I just want to eat donuts, wake up, be skinny, rinse and repeat that cycle. So we have to know how we're actually going to go and get them the result, and we want to break that down into stages. So there is a whole lot of things that you could do, but you want to focus on what is the core deliverable that you're going to do with people over a short, reasonable time frame. 12 weeks is a pretty good time frame, 12 to 16 weeks, because it's long enough for a person to get a result, but it's not so long that it's overwhelming, so they're still tied down to a relatively short period of time. It's believable in most people's minds. So if I said to you, hey, I'm going to show you how to package knowledge, turn it into an online offer, and get your first 5 to 10 clients, and we're going to do that in the next 12 weeks, it might feel like a stretch to you because you don't know how, but it feels like it's possible because 12 weeks is a long time. You want to think about that with your clients. So with your transformation, how are you going to present that? And then what are you going to do with them specifically? Now, this is not, so I'll do this in 2 phases. Phase 1, what do you know that they need to do? Map that out. And then phase 2 is, how are you going to present that in an attractive way? We call this your unique mechanisms. You want to be speaking to things that sound attractive and are not off-putting. Okay, so for example, we talk about dynamic offers, we talk about community funnel, we talk about leverage systems. We have these mechanisms that allow us to deliver on outcomes. So outcome number 1 is you want to have an offer, in my case, which is highly profitable, systemized, leveraged, easy to deliver on, but gets exceptional results. We do that with a dynamic offer. It's something that we can sell via a Google document. The second thing you'll need is a way of getting clients into that. We call this a community funnel. It doesn't require you to be an expert at creating content. It doesn't require you to be some kind of influencer. It doesn't require you to be a magician with paid advertising. And then the third is leverage systems. Everyone thinks, well, I can build an offer, I can market and sell it, but man, I'm going to be working so hard and yada, yada, yada. We have leverage systems in terms of how you attract, convert, and retain your clients, how you onboard them, and how you manage the business. So it becomes very smooth. So now I have 3 mechanisms that I'm able to use to get you a result in the transformation that I'm offering. So you want to think about your case in your offer. If I'm launching a coaching offer from scratch, to re-summarize, I'm going to know who I'm working with. I'm going to know what problem I'm overcoming. I'm going to know what result I'm getting. I'm going to package that into something that sounds a bit more attractive. I'm then going to get clear on the actual steps I need to take them through to get the result that I'm promising so I can deliver on it. And I need to feel confident that if I do those things, I'll get that result. And I need to be clear on our unique mechanisms, which is the salesy marketing side of what we're doing, which is making our thing feel attractive, because we want to give people what they want, and then we want to deliver them what they actually need under the hood. Okay. For example, if you're selling cars to people who don't know much about cars, and they want to go fast, they might think they need some big engine. And that might only be a small part of the story. Maybe they also need to have other components to it as well, like good brakes and good steering and good suspension. But the amateur doesn't understand that. So you want to say, yeah, look, this amazing big engine, you can go really fast. But then you don't want them to go fast and then kill themselves. So you make sure that you deliver something that can handle the power, right? So if you're telling somebody, I'm going to show you how to lose weight, and you're going to not do it, with exercise and diets, that's what they want. Well, how are you still going to get them to lose weight? You're not going to get them to remove things from their diet. You're going to get them to do things adjacent, for example, or you're going to create some kind of thermogenic whatever thing with whatever thing that you do. You get my point here. We're not going to sell them the thing they don't want to do, because then they won't do it and they won't get the result. Once we've done that, we have everything that we need to deliver on it. All we need to go and do is get our first few clients. And the easiest way to do that is to work with the existing database that you already have. So you want to go and email your database, post on social media, speak to clients that you've already got, ring people, hustle up conversations with people who you think you could help, and float the idea by them to see if they're interested. The way that we do it is we say, hey, we're looking for 3 or 5 people who are looking to, and then we insert transformation over whatever period of time. If you want the details, comment below or message me. You'll get a few people who raise their hand, you have conversations with them, and then you present them what you're looking at doing. You're saying, hey, over the next 12 weeks, I'm going to do these things, and you talk about your mechanisms. This is what we're going to do. Here's how I priced it, and are you interested? Let me know. And then we're looking to sign up 3 to 5 people, not to make $1 million and be super rich. We're just trying to prove a couple simple things. The first thing is that people will be interested in what we have to offer. The second thing is that they will give us money for it, right? They'll give us money in exchange for the thing we're offering. And third is that we can deliver on the promise that we're making these people. Because whenever I'm working with anybody who's launching an offer from scratch, the biggest concerns they have is no one will want it, no one will pay me, and I don't know how I'm going to get people results in this. So if we can prove those 3 things, then you have certainty, you know what you need to do next. And growing this just comes down to generating more conversations with real people. And we have a whole framework for doing that, which is for another video. Now, I just skipped past this, but I'll circle back. How do you price this brand new offer? Well, if you know that it's worth $1,000 because that's how you do it in your current business, we don't want price to be an objection. And when you are starting, you're going to be anxious and not know what to say and how to say it. And I don't want that to get in the way. So I want you to price it where you go, all right, I know this is worth $1,000. I'm going to offer it for $500. Somewhere between 50 to 75% off what you think the value is. If you do that, then every time you sell it, you're going to feel uncomfortable because you know how good this is and you know how much value you're giving, you know how cheap this is. Because then your certainty is high. So when you're communicating what you do for the price, there isn't going to be this fear of like, it's not worth it. Instead, you're going to go, ooh, I signed that client up. That was very cheap. Ooh, that was very cheap. Because then price is not an objection. And then you can always raise your prices later. If you do it the other way around and you sell it at the price that you know that it's worth and people say no, you don't know if they're saying no because of you. You don't know if they're saying no because of what you're offering. And you don't know if they're saying no because of money. Whereas if you have money low, then it's not an objection. You have certainty because you know it's worth a hell of a lot more than what you're charging for it. So it's probably not going to be you in the way. What will be in the way is just what you're offering. Once we identify and fix that, so the thing we're selling is attractive, it's worded in the right way, then what we want to do is work on your sales skills if we're still having objections, and start to raise the price until we have resistance. We want to be having people saying no as much as they're saying yes, so that we know that we're at a price point where it's valuable, but we're receiving the money in exchange for that. So we have money to invest in going and getting more people. If too many people are saying yes, raise your prices. The easiest way of putting it is if you raise your prices right now on your services by 10%, you would not lose 10% of your clients. And even if you did, you're making the same amount of money working 10% less. So tomorrow you could raise your prices and make 10% more money. And for most of us, we're talking anywhere from doubling our profit margin, because our business has a horrible margin, to a 50% increase in profit margin by doing something very small, 50 to 20%, right? So think about this: low price, high value. You now feel uncomfortable. You know price is not the objection. You know that your certainty is not the objection. It's just the offer. If people are saying yes to it, start to increase your price after the first 5 people as your confidence and skills build. And if you do this, I promise you, you'll get 3 to 5 people into a case study group for you to prove the 3 things that matter. People want what you have, they'll pay for it, and that you can deliver results to them. Now, if you want more information on growing an online offer and coaching business, I've got plenty of resources. We'll link to some videos around on the channel, and I look forward to seeing you on those.